Hi, my name is Bob Coakley, and I'm with Upgrade Performance, and I'm the facilitator for the Presenting with Impact program. Now, the purpose of this video is to share with you how a virtual Presenting with Impact program will work. Because the first thing on your mind was, how can we do this program virtually? It just doesn't make sense. I wanted to do it in person. Well, I'm going to answer that question and share with you why this can be a great way to do this program and a great investment of your time. So in this video, I'll share a brief introduction and background of myself. I'll share with you what our desired outcome of the time that you invest in the program can deliver. We'll talk about expectations, what you can expect from the course, but also what you can expect to put into the course so you can really maximize your time. And then I'll go over how it works. So let me just step back and share with you a little bit about my background and how I've been working with BD. Our company is called Upgrade Performance, and we partner with world-class organizations, and we are laser focused on what we call the human interaction. That happens in businesses every single day in the form of conversations. That conversation can be between a customer and yourself. It could be between a manager or leader and they're coaching their frontline person. It could be leadership talking to the organization. And it often comes in the form of presentations, both live and virtual. So what we laser in on is how can we improve these? And we have found when we improve these conversations, everything gets better. And that's what we're going to laser in on in this course. I've worked with organizations throughout the banking industry like Bank of America, PIMCO. I've worked in the technology business with companies like Google and Facebook. Have you ever heard of those guys? And it really all distills down is how can we improve our presentations and our conversations? But most importantly, I have had the unique honor to work with the BD team for the last 4 years in the form of this Presenting with Impact course. So I've worked with a wide range of people at BD, everything from folks that are in finance to ethics and compliance to scientists, project managers, sales, clinicians, you name it. Everyone comes to this course, and the great thing is they can really help each other out. So what's the desired outcome? Well, when we finish this course, the ideal thing is you walk away with some very practical and tactical things that you can put into play immediately. So we kind of put together a program that is very relevant to your role, and it also provides enough autonomy and freedom so you can choose the things that are going to apply to you and your situation, your role, and some of the presentations you're doing. Now, the great thing is when we get people together in person, we have found that most people say 50% or more of their presentations are done virtually anyway. So why not do this course virtually? That way we can kind of work together in this modality and pick up ideas actually as we do it. So that's why I think it's going to be great and you're going to love it that you actually invested in the time. All right, so what can you expect from the course? So first of all, we will provide you a guide, kind of a framework on how to prepare your presentations all the way through hitting each step of the presentation, kind of breaking it down into a roadmap. So everything from what you can do to prepare, understand your audience, then how you can open up your presentation to really engage the audience. We'll talk about a technique called a client-centric introduction. We're going to talk about how we can set an agenda at the beginning of your presentation that's going to really motivate people to want to be involved and engaged, and maybe even motivate people to be ready with questions and to make it interactive if that's possible. Then we'll talk about how you can share your key points and persuade your audience or easily communicate whatever you're trying to get across. We'll talk about Q&As and we'll talk about body movement and things like that. Even though we're doing virtually here, we can talk about some of the techniques that you'll use when you're doing a live presentation. And then of course, we're going to talk about how you close it out so it ends, in a positive, motivating and powerful way, not just like, okay, I'm all done. Any questions? We want to really end and make a mark when we end this thing. So you're going to get a full comprehensive thing like that. So my mom always said to me, nothing works unless you do. So it's the same thing in this course. You've heard it. It's kind of cliche, right? You get out of it what you, hopefully you finish that off, what you put into it, right? So it's the same thing with an online course, in-person course, whatever you want to invest and put into this, it will have a huge impact on what you're going to get out of it. So if you want to maximize and squeeze everything you possibly can out of this course, what we ask you to do is show up with a PowerPoint that you're going to use, and it could be from a presentation that you've done in the past or one you're planning on using in the future. Ideally, it's one in the future so you can work on it, apply the techniques and the concepts that we go through in the course and actually apply it to a real live one. Why work on a fake one? Just work on something that you're using right now or you may use in the future. So show up, be ready with one so that way you can really jump into action right away. In addition to that, what we are going to ask you to do is watch some training videos. So I will basically go through the content in the form of a training video, just like this. And it's about 90 minutes, but it will allow you to stop and start as you go through that. And as you go through, you'll be using the participant guide and some of the other resource materials that will provide to you. And as you go through that, you can spend more time on the areas that are more relevant to you and your role, and speed up for other areas that may be less relevant, right? But the good news is, prior to the course, you will have the flexibility to go through this 90 minutes of content. You can do it 20 minutes at a time, or sit down for 90 minutes if you want to do it. But we're going to ask you to do that so that way, when we get together for the virtual sessions, it's more interaction, really, where we kind of close the loop. So it is going to require some time, but think about it. You had planned to invest a full day and a half in this program, and we're going to probably do it in a little less time. But if you can take that time outside of our virtual sessions and invest in some of the content, applying it to your presentation, you're really going to get a lot out of this. All right, so let me just quickly go through how the course is going to work. So after this video will be your first online questionnaire. It's in the form of a Google Documents, but I'll ask some questions and some of them just take a few minutes and you'll just answer those questions. That will allow me to learn a little bit more about you, your role, and what type of presentations you're doing, maybe even some of the challenges that you run into typically that you'd like to get some ideas on. That's going to allow me to further tailor the time together to the specific audience that we're going to have in this session. In addition to that, you'll be getting some materials. Like I said, you'll get a video that you'll watch and you'll follow along with a participant guide, and we'll have some other resources that we'll be sharing with you that you'll want to have handy when you're going through the video course. Once we do that, we will have 3 virtual sessions over the scheduled time. We're going to start with the morning session on day 1, and that's when we get together as a team, and there's going to be maybe 16 or a few less than that on our calls, and on these calls, we'll be using Microsoft Meets. So it's a tool that you're already using, or if you're not, it's going to allow you to get more proficient in that tool. So we're going to actually eat our own cooking, right? So we'll learn a virtual tool. Maybe you've been meaning to learn more about this, but we'll be using Microsoft Meets. And during these sessions, we'll be on video and we'll be using the chat box, and we're going to make these things super interactive. And what these virtual sessions will allow us to do is close the loop, kind of answer questions you have and really dig in and meet where the content left off and meet you where you're at with that content. And this lively discussion will provide you tons more ideas and answers to any questions you had. And then we're going to ask you to start applying that stuff. And then we'll hop back on another session in the afternoon where we'll start seeing some people's practice of different parts of their presentation. So you'll actually be presenting virtually online in a session like this. In addition to that, we'll be doing some breakouts. So we'll break you out into small groups of about 3, and you'll have a chance to interact and practice with some small groups before we get together in the big groups. So we'll figure all this stuff out, but I want to let you know this is not our first rodeo. You might be saying, how is this going to work? Well, we did this last year with BD's ECE group. We did this session virtually. In fact, we had to make this change kind of last minute. Everyone was planning to fly in, but that wasn't possible anymore. So we had participants from around the globe, everything from Singapore to France to Belgium, London, Germany. We had everybody from around the globe on this. We did it virtually and we got great feedback. Everyone was like, that was super useful. So this is not our first rodeo with this, but together I know we can make this a great course. And again, along the way, we'll do some practice and coaching. That's going to allow us to get some kinks out as well as get some feedback from our partners. So I'm excited about doing this course with all of you and doing it virtually because I think we're going to get even more out of it. So I hope you're excited about it. Again, hopefully this answers some of the questions that you have. If you have more, let me know. But if you're ready to put some time, energy, and effort into this, we are really confident at the end of 2 days, you'll end this course saying, wow, I'm really glad I did that. That's my goal as your facilitator. See you soon.